Hello everyone, it's Phil. Welcome to a review, guide and demonstration about the Roland sound canvas SC-55. This video is from the perspective of a MS-DOS gamer, so keep that in mind. I'm not a musician, but you might find what I'm showing you interesting regardless. The Roland sound canvas is basically the de facto standard for general MIDI when it comes to DOS gaming. Because a lot of DOS games were composed on a sound canvas, if you've got one of these units, you will get a very natural and balanced sound. In this video, I'm going to show you what power supply you need, an overview of the unit, how to reset the unit, how to enter MT32 mode, how to access the demo mode, how the input can be used to mix Sound Blaster with general MIDI. I'm going to show you what parts are, what instruments are, and also how to configure chorus and reverb. Let's have a quick look at the front of the unit. We have a MIDI input here, this is number 2. There's another MIDI input at the back, and they get basically mixed together. So if you have 2 MIDI inputs going, they will both talk to the SC-55. We've got the power button at the top, a volume dial which controls the headphone output as well as the output of the RCA ports in the back. Then we've got a really nice LCD display where you can see all sorts of things going on, and we talk about that a little bit more in detail later on. And then you've got some buttons here where you can do all sorts of things, change the parts, the instruments, the volume, whether it's left or right, reverb, chorus, the key shift, the MIDI channels, and you can also enter the demo modes. It has some demo songs built in, as well as reset your unit. Here we are at the back of the unit, so we're starting on the right side. This is the input for the power supply. It takes 9 volts and it needs a power supply of at least 500 milliamps. And if you look carefully, the center tip is negative, so you need to make sure that you get the right power supply. Then this is like a hook for the cable. You can wrap it around here and just avoid some tension on that lead. Then we've got the MIDI in. This is MIDI in number 1, which is mixed with the MIDI in number 2 at the front. We've got a MIDI out and MIDI through. MIDI through is very useful if you want to daisy chain this unit with others and listen to both of them, or if you don't have a MIDI splitter and you don't want to keep plugging in and plugging in and out cables. And then we've got 4 RCA ports here. These are the output ports, one for left and for right. And then something quite cool, the SC-55 has inputs as well, and they will get mixed with the output. So a good example is if you've got a Sound Blaster 16, AW32, AW64, or any other Sound Blaster, and you want to mix the digital speech or sound effects, you can connect it to the input, and then they get mixed with the general MIDI from the sound canvas. And you can't control the level of the input, but you can control the general output, so you need to adjust your sound card to get the balance between general MIDI and digital sound effects right. The SC-55 has some demo music built in. In order to play those songs, you have to press down both part buttons and then power on the unit. So that's a good way of testing that your unit works. With the part buttons, you can now select between 2 songs, and to play, you just press the all button. To get out of this, just power off the unit. Resetting the SC-55 is pretty straightforward. However, there are 3 reset modes. They all work from the powered off state. So if you click the left instrument button and power on, it does an MT32 reset, and then just press all to confirm. To do a GS reset, you hold down the right instrument button and power on the unit, and then press all to confirm. And to reset the entire unit, hold down both instrument buttons, the left and the right, while powering on the unit, and then press all to confirm. Resetting the unit into MT32 mode allows you to play some games that use the default MT32 instruments. So this does not work with games like Wing Commanders that change all sorts of instruments and have custom sounds, but games like Monkey Island, for example, you will be able to play these with the MT32 sound. So I'm just going to confirm that, and we're going to start a game. We're going to listen to Monkey Island in Roland mode. One benefit of having an external unit is that you have full control over reverb and chorus. But before I show you how to use the SC-55 to configure that, we're just going to have a look at what reverb and chorus actually are. So I'm just going to mute all the parts apart from the drums. There you go. And now I'm gonna increase the reverb, and we're gonna listen to it. What reverb basically does is control the simulated environment. Reverb at 0, which is dry, simulates an enclosed room, whereas the higher the reverb, the more hall, the more echo, and the bigger the room you're in, like in a concert hall or in a church. Chorus makes the instrument sound thicker and richer, as if there are more than one instrument playing all slightly at a different tone. So let's have a look what you can do with some of these buttons. I'm going to focus on part number 1, so I'm just going to mute all the other parts. Now, what is a part? Think of a part as a musician in a band. So we have 16 musicians here. I'll go back to my first part, and that musician is playing the picked bass. Now, once you've selected a part, you can tell that part to change an instrument. So it's playing something else now, so let's go back to the default one. There you go. What else can you do? Level, that adjusts basically the volume. Pan, adjusts the position. Is it towards the left or is it towards the right? It's now 30 to the left, and I can change that and swap sides and make it move to the other side. So we're now on the right side, and here we are on right 30. So I'm just gonna put that back to default, which was left 30. Then we've got reverb and chorus, and one important thing to understand is that each part has its own reverb and chorus setting. However, if you press the all button, you have basically a global reverb and chorus setting as well, and that can be quite confusing if you don't know that at first. And what you can see here is on the part number 1, the reverb is set to 40 and the chorus is set to 0. That means if you go to the global settings and you increase chorus, you can put it all the way to 127. It's not gonna work at all because that part has the chorus muted. So you need to lift the chorus of the part first to a level that you can actually hear something, and then in the global settings you can adjust the global settings for chorus and reverb. So that's quite important to understand. So I'll put that back to the default, which was 0 for chorus and 40 for reverb. And then you can also change the shift key, do a key shift, and that's pretty much all you need to know. Now usually if you play a game you're not going to change any of these settings, but maybe you are interested in isolating one instrument and just changing changing how the song sounds. There's one potential cause of concern, which is a coin battery that is inside. And there are reports of users having had a look at the coin battery and it's actually leaking. So I'm just going to quickly show you how to do that. There are 5 screws in total, so I'm just going to quickly unscrew them and open the panel. And there's the coin battery, and what I do, I'll just put a tool below here and push it up. Now I've replaced a brand new coin battery, so this is working fine. The unit works actually without the battery. I'm just going to show you what that looks like. So with the coin battery removed, if you plug in the power supply at the back, you get a short message that the battery is not there. It's not a big deal. It's actually a good thing. I know a lot of people that use the sound canvas for DOS gaming, and they remove the battery because they like that the unit resets itself every time you unplug the power. So yeah, basically it's your choice. Do you want to remove the battery and live without it? If you're using it for DOS games, it's not a problem at all. It's more interesting for those who actually use this to compose music. But look, a new battery doesn't cost much, so you might as well replace it. So the choice is really totally up to you. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you want to make sure you're getting future updates on my channel, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and any questions, feedback, comments, put them down below. I'm always eager to hear from you.